Hello, Grand Strand. This is Richard Florzak, the private chef to the stars, and welcome back to Talking About Food. It's the only show here on the Grand Strand, only food commentary show on the Grand Strand. Now, you may have heard me say a number of times that, we interview restaurant owners, chefs, celebrities. Well, whether celebrity or not, the topic is always food. So I'm going to address my guest by his baptismal name, Grant Turner, also known as Ricky Mokel on the comedy stage. Grant, welcome to Talking About Food.
Well, Rich, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute honor. I'm so grateful that you came in. We were having this conversation before the show, and I come to find out that Grant lived in L.A. for 3 years. You said you had a child who was born there.
Yep. My son Kyle was born at the Presbyterian Hospital there, and several minutes later, the wife whisked him back to friendly grounds, relatives around Atlanta area and the western North Carolina. Her parents lived in the mountains in western North Carolina. So after a couple of years in Atlanta renting, we bought our first home in the mountains and had a great view of Western Carolina University, the campus.
Wow.
And so we had a little chalet kind of thing on the side of the mountain.
Nice. Where were you raised?
I was raised in Decatur, Georgia.
Okay.
Which is the closest town to Atlanta. It is literally just 10 minutes from downtown Atlanta.
Right. So how do you guys end up in L.A.?
I was in advertising. After college, I got a job in advertising, and that was the job I wanted, I thought. And so I was an account executive, and I lasted in that business 2.5 years, and I got fired. And I should have been fired.
Do you mind if I ask why?
Well, it's
funny now.
Bad decisions. My client was Mauna Loa macadamia nuts.
Oh, yeah.
In Hilo, Hawaii. The client flies in all the way into Atlanta. I don't know why they had an Atlanta agency to meet with our agency. It's Friday. I've gotten a gig in Daytona Beach, Florida for 2 nights at a place called Dr. Boogie's. I'd been doing stand-up comedy for 6 months, as a hobby.
Yeah.
And I got this $500 gig and a ticket. They sent me a ticket, and the plane left at 6:30. Now I'm in this meeting. I'm looking at my watch.
Yeah.
I get up and leave this meeting in order to get on that stupid plane to go down and do this gig.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys, I got to go.
Yeah.
And I left the meeting with the client. My client's there. So that was embarrassed everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a no-go.
So I wasn't serious about advertising.
Yeah, I can see why it only lasted 6 months. All right, so how do you end up then in Los Angeles?
I wasn't ready to go to L.A., but the wife was. She was ready to get things rolling.
Yeah.
So she got a job in L.A., a good job, and she made the whole arrangements, and we moved out there.
Yeah.
She got the apartment and the whole thing.
Did you have a time frame? Because I know a lot of people will. I've talked to hundreds of people who've made that move out to L.A. Hoping to make it big. Was there a time frame that you had?
Yeah. 3 years.
3 years. How'd you come up with that?
To me, that seemed like forever.
Yeah.
That seemed like a realistic thing.
And what were some of the clubs that you played? Did you ever do the Improv?
Mm-hmm.
Improv had, in my opinion, the best pizza in Los Angeles. I used to go there. My buddy Manny Cotto, God rest him. We were both broke at the time, and we loved the Improv. And we used to go and just sit at the bar.
Yeah.
And have some beers and some food and stuff. And it was amazing how many people would come through that door, hang out in the bar, and then go into the back rooms. I remember seeing Rodney Dangerfield walk in.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. But you know what? I hung out. I've been good friends with Kevin Nealon for about 30 years now. I've been trying to get him on the show. When I was hanging out with him, it was pre Saturday Night Live. And there was this group of friends, and he always used to invite me to come along. Dana Carvey, Bill Maher, Kevin Pollak.
My big takeaway, I think, from L.A. had to do with food. My wife brought home a bunch of cassette tapes from Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins, right. It was called Health for Life or something benign like that. But he was a neuro-linguistic programmer, and he programmed me, and my wife is still, to this day, programmed. I lasted a year, but I was a strict vegetarian out there for a year, and I felt I was really L.A. You know? But that it worked.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because Kevin Nealon's been a vegetarian for decades and decades, and I never really paid that much attention to it until after he got big, right? After SNL and everything, he then started calling me and saying, "Hey, I do these, little parties at my house. Would you be interested in catering them?" And at that point in my life, I was not interested in catering, but he was my friend, so I would do it. And he would always say, "Remember, Richard, it's got to be vegetarian." So I had to, sort of re-educate myself into it. And I was finding some really cool things, and they were really impressed by it. And what I would do is I would go to vegetarian restaurants in LA to give me some ideas. Some of them were excellent. Are you still vegetarian?
No. I lasted a year. At a 365 days into it, I just decided, okay, I'm going to go eat a Whopper and see what happened.
What happened?
I went to sleep. I swear, it was just, my body was like, what?
Yeah. Wow.
Couldn't handle it.
Wow. Would you consider yourself a foodie?
No.
No. I think you're the first one that's ever said that.
My wife is...
is she a good cook?
Oh, yeah. She's great.
What are some of your favorites?
It's a brown rice dish with beef, just consomme beef.
Yeah. And
everybody in the family, they're, bring that rice. It's one of those dishes. Yeah. Bring that rice. But she's the type of cook that cooks for 8 people, no matter how many people are. So we have a lot of leftovers.
A lot of leftovers. Do they when you do acts at the different venues, do they feed you?
No.
No, you have to pay if you eat.
Yeah.
Do you usually eat when you go to do a show after or at the venue?
Well, I'm not on the road anymore, so right now I drive 1 mile to work. So I can
you can eat
at 5:30.
But what about back in the day? All right, if we go back to LA for a second, you were there for 3 years. Why did you end up coming back? Were you not getting enough work in the comedy world?
Well, I was getting auditions. It was all to get on TV and to become an actor. I was on Star Search, but I was on Star Search in the acting category.
I remember that.
You remember they had an acting category?
Absolutely. Well, in those 3 years, was it a financial struggle?
No. My wife was fairly frugal, and me too. We
go out to eat much when you were there?
No.
What about now? What do you like here in the Grand Strand?
Oh, I'll tell you. I like, there's this place called 357. It's on the water behind it's at the marina at Grand Dunes.
Yeah.
And there's Ruth Chris is in the Marriott there.
Oh, yeah.
But this building outside there is on the water, and it's called 357 because that's the mile marker on the Intercoastal Waterway.
Yeah.
And great atmosphere, great food.
What do you get when you go there?
I get a celebrity salad with meat, with salmon usually, but they also have good smash burgers and those type things.
Yeah. What about your wife? What is she like?
She likes that. She's a big protein person. We have a lot of meat. Yeah, my life's totally different now. I'm totally into meat now.
Yeah.
And
it's supposed to be just the opposite. As we get older, you're supposed to shy away from that.
And so many times I'll go out and I'll order, this is a joke in the family, I'll order we'll go to a nice restaurant and I'll just order a salad. And the women just jump on me. What? Why are you getting a salad? You need to get up some protein. I said, well, I'll get some meat on it. But
Right.
I don't know. I just don't like all the bread sometimes, you know.
Yeah, well, it's so funny coming from L.A. to here where, they claim to be so health conscious out there. Meanwhile, they've got more burger places per capita than any place in the world.
Right.
But, you go from, like you were just saying that the women are telling you to eat meat. That's here in South Carolina.
Right.
Over there, they're all vegetarian. Yeah, I always thought that whenever women on the West Coast, when they hit the age of 14, it's like any day now they will become a vegetarian. Yeah. What else do you like in the Grand Strand? Pizza?
Not that big on pizza, but I like Crave.
I've heard a lot about, and I haven't been there yet.
It's a good hang and good food. It's a big place. It's popular.
What do you like there?
I tell you, I can't think of the exact dish because I've ordered different things, and they're all good. But I'll tell you what my favorite dish I've ever had here was just a couple of weeks ago at the Aspen Grill. I had the short rib.
Yeah. Good.
Oh,
yeah.
The best I've ever had.
Yeah. How do they serve that?
Oh, it's on a plate with a big square of short rib on there with the juice around it and some potatoes of some kind.
Yeah. Good stuff. Simple.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it's good.
So good. Best I've had.
Are you a burger guy?
I usually, if I'm ordering a meat, I'll order a filet in a restaurant.
Yeah.
The short rib, I guess I didn't even know what that was for a long time. I just thought I pictured the rib, and I wasn't interested in pulling anything off of a rib.
Yeah, right. And it's funny how over the years, things that weren't popular all of a sudden now are very expensive. Like wings, which was probably the last thing to ever come off of a chicken, is now super popular and more expensive than anything. Same thing with short ribs.
I've noticed this. I'm a bourbon drinker, but old fashions.
Oh, I know. It's like it's like cyclical. We're back in the 50s.
But I was ordering them, but I didn't think I was being influenced by anyone else. Yeah. But apparently I was.
Yeah.
We're all in the same wavelength or something. We're all connected, and it's hard to have an original thought.
There was a place in L.A. on La Cienega called, anyway, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But it was the first 50s style restaurant that ever popped up. And then it became
Sonic?
No. Ed DeBevick's.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And it was getting, and I used to go there because it had like home style food. I could care less about the 50s motif. It wasn't interesting to me. But I remember they had a Velveeta burger. And I thought, man, this thing is so good. But they also had on there just home style meatloaf. And then I started seeing meatloaf pop up on more of the higher end restaurants. I think even Wolfgang Puck had it on one of his menus for a while. So it tends to be cyclical, whether it's food or drinks or whatever. Yeah. Anything else comes to mind that you like?
Any other restaurants? Yeah. 44th and King.
Another one I've been meaning to get to. What do you like there?
I like the atmosphere. I like the outside of the restaurant. It's under nice big oak trees.
Yeah.
It's got an outdoor patio area and a covered porch. They have live music often. Got a really good beer selection, and it's usually a salad.
Better put some meat on that salad. Yeah.
With some salmon.
Yeah. Well, Grant Turner / Ricky Mokel, can't thank you enough for coming in.
Listeners will not recognize my voice because that's not how I talk on stage. Ricky Mokel talks like this. He's the guy that says stuff like this. I think about stuff. You wouldn't believe the stuff I think about.
Tell me.
I could be thinking about something right now. You don't know. The people that think they know don't know, and the people that know they don't know, they know.
And the people who think they know Ricky Mokel, they really don't know.
They are lost.
Oh, no. And that is Grant Turner, a.k.a. Ricky Mokel. been working the Carolina Opry for past 2 years, and for the next 2 months, he's going to be doing 6 shows a week there, the Christmas special. You folks, you got to get out there and see him. He is absolutely hilarious. He puts on such a great show, and he just slipped me a note that says, I forgot to mention Joe's Bar and Grill in North Myrtle Beach, and his favorites there are the Steak Diane and the Samson Special. So we got to get up there and check that out. And coming up after the break, I've got Chef Joe Bonaparte, HGTC Executive Director, Culinary Department, and he's going to be talking about where he's taking these students next. He's always taking them all over the world, studying the culinary arts in France, Italy. I want to hear where he's going next. And also sitting in will be Paul Grimshaw of the Paul Grimshaw Band, but also 20-year food writer for Grand Strand magazine. And he's actually here to interview me for an article in next month's edition. Wow, so honored. Stick around.
Have you ever seen a man move across the country? My man, Chef Richard. My man, Chef Richard. Straight from California. California. Now he's in South Carolina. Carolina. He traded the surf for the pines and bars. Now he only cooks for stars. Only cooks for stars. Yeah, he only cooks for stars. Cook you a delicious dish. As soon as he can catch some fish, and we're waiting on the fish.
Welcome back, folks.
Wow.
Yep. Yep. Glad to be here in South Carolina. It's a good choice to come here. And that was produced by my dear friend Captain Inglis Glover for the Saturday show on the Gator 107.9. Trilogy Outdoors. Thanks for that, Captain E. And in the studio again today, we've had him on the show a couple times. Without a doubt, the hardest working man in the culinary world. He always goes the extra mile, not for himself, but for his hundreds of students. They are the beneficiaries of his hard work. Chef Joe Bonaparte, welcome back to Talking About Food.
Thanks, Richard.
Yeah, come close to the microphone. And also in the studio today is my friend. I think I can call him my friend. He's been on the show a couple times, and we just, 3 of us chatted for about 45 minutes. Not about food, about rock music and rock history. Paul Grimshaw of the Paul Grimshaw Band, and also writer for Grand Strand magazine. Paul, welcome in as well.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, so you feel free to interject. I hope it's okay to say that one of the reasons why you're here is you're doing an interview with me for Grand Strand magazine.
You got it.
Which I'm honored about. So, Chef, what's new at the school? What's going on at the school? Every time you come on, you've bought some expensive piece of equipment that always blows me away, or you've got something going. Tell the folks what's happening, what's new at the school.
Our latest piece of equipment's really awesome. It's we got a rotisserie imported from France, and it's can do about 40 chickens on it, or porchettas. We have it in our.
By the way, I saw that picture of porchetta. I was very jealous because I think you remember you were at my house one time, and I did one. Just to go off on a slight tangent, if you can explain to the listeners what porchetta is.
Porchetta is very traditional, really Italian pork roll, and in Italy you'll see it at a lot of at the markets, the weekly markets that are in town squares. There'll be a porchetta truck, and that's all they do, and they'll have a whole pig sitting up on the counter that they did porchetta with, and so it's a deboned pig.
The whole pig is deboned.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And then rosemary, a lot of rosemary, garlic, and a lot of a lot of wild fennel.
Yes.
Lots of fennel.
Yeah.
And
fennel pollen, right?
The leaf over there, it's going to be a lot of leaves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the green stuff, they cut it off the side of the road and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
That's great.
but yeah. And they roll it up and I roast this whole pig, and then, it's like you buy a sandwich or you buy some porchetta, and it's just usually sitting out room temperature to do it. So there's the scaled down version, like what we do at the school, and a lot of people do, is you get a boneless pork loin, and then pork bellies.
Yeah.
And then, so you rub down the inside of the pork bellies with, we use fennel. Yeah. Not wild fennel.
Right.
Sometimes toasted fennel seeds and grind them up, but also the fennel fronds. And a lot of rosemary, a lot of fennel, a lot of garlic, salt, and pepper. You roll that stuff around the lean loin, so you have all this fatty stuff.
Nice.
You prick holes in the skin. Yeah. And you roast it, and the skin gets all crackly and bubbly and all that.
Man.
And
I love it.
Stop it.
Yeah. And so that's I think they rotate that about every 3 or 4 weeks at the school, and it's a very popular item. We'll do a sandwich. They make buns, and we do a lemon roasted garlic aioli, and usually arugula on it, and little olive oil. But
so your rotisserie, you said, holds 40 chickens. Uh-huh. Are you trying to give Costco a run for their money?
No, it was just, we started looking at them, and it was like, well, for a little more, we can get a bigger one, kind of thing. And I had a budget, and they were able to get that 8 spit one within the budget. And part of the reason is because of our student club, like the farmers market, we do now we do rotisserie chicken.
Yeah. And
once in a while.
Is the porchetta made in the rotisserie?
Yeah. Well, the last time, because the rotisserie is new. So
right.
I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we did the porchetta on the rotisserie.
How did that come out?
It came out awesome.
I remember when I was working for Mel Gibson and we were in Rome while he was doing The Passion. I shop in the local markets every day. And at the deli section, I noticed that, and it happened a lot, that the gentlemen behind the counter were watching the door, looking at their watches all the time. And then I realized that they were getting a delivery of this porchetta.
Oh.
And they were passionate about it. It's not here yet. What's going on? And then it would come and there'd be cheers and everything they'd have. But I never tried it. And then my wife came to visit while I was working there. And I was telling her about it. She goes, let's get some. So we ordered some, and they slice it. And of course, because it's boneless, when they slice through that cylindrical piece of beauty, there's no bones. And we sat outside, and I took one bite. You get that beautiful tender meat and the crackling on the outside. I thought, oh my God, this is pure heaven. So
can I interject as something about rosemary? We talked about it a lot. I love rosemary, and I have to buy it at the grocery store for like $3 in a little tiny plastic box. You've seen herbs that are sold that way, right? I had a rosemary bush in front of my condo that was as big as a Volkswagen. And it wouldn't die. You couldn't kill it. I had literally 50 pounds of rosemary on it at any given time. They made us cut it down. The HOA made us cut it down. And I was hoping it would kind of sprout back up out of the roots. It hasn't happened, so it's killing me because rosemary grows so well in this region. Yeah. And anybody that cooks should be cooking with rosemary. I'm sure you agree. And everybody that lives in this region, get a little pot and grow some rosemary. It's super easy to grow.
Yeah. Let me give a shout out to Inlet Culinary Garden. Have you been?
Yep.
Yeah, I've had Peter Geraci's the owner on the show. And we hit it off so well that if I need basil, I just call him up and I just go over to his house and he gives me like a 2-gallon bag of fresh basil. But check it out. And the plants that he has there, the herbs are always extremely healthy, and they do well right on your back. Back porch or whatever.
Georgetown had or still has an herb garden open to the public near the clock tower.
Yeah.
It's immediately adjacent to the clock tower, and it's this wide and 30 feet long, and it's got everything you could want that's seasonal.
Yeah.
Because it's outside, and it's free for the picking.
Oh, that's
it
terrific.
was. I think it's still there.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Here's a little. I have a bunch of rosemary growing, and
I wish I knew. No, I'm glad I know that now. Just knock on your door.
Like some I planted. Actually, some when my best friend passed away right around the end of 2019. His wife sent me like 5 different rosemary plants because apparently rosemary is a remembrance herb. But anyway, there's this tip. I don't know if I just stumbled on it or my wife, who's much smarter than I am, told me. But so now every time, because what you're talking about, like even if you buy rosemary at the store, when you use it, don't strip the whole thing. Leave an inch or two of leaves at the top.
Yeah.
And then just take the stick and put it in a dirt and it's going to grow. I have it growing all over the place. Every time I cut rosemary, I strip it, I put it back in the dirt.
Wow.
And it grows.
That's so great to know.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Tip. Yeah.
Oh.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Where, Joe, because you always blow me away with the places that you take your students to. Where are you going next?
Or next is back to Paris. We're not going to Vienna this year. My Viennese chef wants to do it next year. Yeah. He said we waited too long in the summer to secure the reservations we needed, and he also had a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, darn. Your students have to go back to Paris.
Yeah, so
Paul, can you believe that?
It's so sad.
I know.
Sad.
I know.
Yeah, we just picked actually the group that's going last week, and this week we're interviewing them all to make sure they understand the seriousness and also the commitment to fundraising.
Yeah,
because
that was going to be my next question. Go ahead.
Because this year they have been paying $2,850 all inclusive, for the trip, which included flights, which included a week of school at the Ritz Escoffier School.
Unbelievable.
Like just the highest level of place you can go to. It included multiple Michelin star dinners, everything, their little cups of coffee, whatever. And decided because we do a lot of fundraising, we were going to lower the price to the students, have more of the club funds, the fundraising money cover the trip. So this year their ON is $400 or $500 payment is $2,000.
Wow.
So, and the real cost of the trip is over $6,000. So it's a nice opportunity for them. And President asked, why don't we do it for free to the students? And I'm like, because they have to have some teeth in it. They got to have buy-in.
Excellent.
I don't want to, this is a real opportunity. We take limited numbers of students on these trips. This one, we decide, sometimes we'll take 12. This one, we decided 10.
Mm-hmm. A trip like that is reason alone to enroll at the school.
I've said that.
I have thought about doing it several times. And I think once you're at a certain age,
it's free.
Tuition is...
It's free.
So it's free, and I get a discounted trip to Paris.
Yeah.
And learn some knife skills while I'm at it.
And get showed around by me.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Who's been there a number of times. And tour guide.
You'd have to eat carbs, though.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to twist
I'd make an exception.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, we're going to go to Italy again, to Umbria, central Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
have you been there with the students?
Many times. Yeah. And I have a friend who's a chef friend who had a restaurant in Orvieto in central Italy, but he sold the restaurant. Now he has a inn and he after his father passed away, he inherited family land and has a farm and an inn. olive oil, wine, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I've known him since about 1999. Met him. He was on a trip to Houston with somebody promoting Italian cuisine, regional foods, and he came to the school I was at in Houston. And ever since then, we've friends. He comes over here maybe once a year, once every other year. Go over there.
Yeah.
Sends me truffles and stuff.
Oh,
it's awesome.
Oh, man. Wow. Truffles and porchetta.
And then been talking to the other day, Armando and Esmeralda, his wife, who owned Soul down in Pawleys Island. They're about to open up on Holmestown Road, reopen Soul in a new location. And we were talking to them about them taking us on a trip to Mexico.
Ah, that would be fantastic. Do your students understand how fortunate they are?
Some do. Some don't really realize, that like, I think I was in my 40s before I ever ate at a Michelin restaurant. Back then too, there wasn't Michelin stars in the U.S. So I ate at what would have been Michelin star restaurants and staged at some, but in the U.S., but they didn't have.
And there are now 3 in Charleston.
Yeah.
Charleston has 3 Michelin-rated restaurants.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's incredible. But, it's, I think once they go through the trip, they get there and they're like, whoa.
Yeah, I certainly hope so, because, you make it happen, and that doesn't happen in most culinary institutions. And the majority of the money is raised through your farmers market.
Well, it's the farmers market selling the chickens, brisket, porchetta, all that stuff. Yeah. And the weekly bread sales are mostly weekly bread that the Baking Pastry Club raises. But this stuff, fundraising, it also funds like our culinary competition team, because usually they have to travel.
You go to New York every year, don't you? Or occasionally?
I've taken them to New York, but we don't do that every year. I go.
There is a big competition or an event up there that you've.
Well, we've gone up there and cooked at the James Beard Foundation.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and that's a really neat opportunity. That was once in a lifetime opportunity for students. But there's competition, and like we're in the Southeast region. Last year we hosted it. We didn't have to travel. Year before, Sarasota. This year we got to go to only up to Winston-Salem, but still it's 5 people. Travel in, spend the night, all that kind of stuff. And then if we win, we go to national. And like a few years ago, we took the team, they competed in Las Vegas. And so that was an endeavor, because you have to take every piece of equipment, all your food, and the students there. So it's like.
How do you choose who goes
on the trip?
Yeah.
Because
one of my questions was, and I don't know if it's interesting to the listeners, but sure as hell interesting to me. Do you ever come across a student that you say to yourself, wow, this person's going somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it's a person like that.
Not as much as I would want, obviously. Yeah. But yes,
Let me ask you, what spark do you see in a student that makes you say this person's going somewhere?
It really has to do with passion and their willingness to listen and follow directions and not think they know everything. I could tell you what, one of the best students I've ever had, and I've had some students, really great students. I've had some students come in 18 years old, not knowing what they wanted to do, and gone on and win James Beard Awards. I've had one of the students who won a James Beard Award told me, when I came culinary school and you were my first teacher, and I'm sitting there and I'm stoned and I don't know what I really want to do, if I even really want to be there. And he goes, when you started talking, you hooked me.
Wow.
You go, and it was so cool, because that was in like 1995. And in 2014, I got to be in New York when he accepted a James Beard Award for Best Chef of the Southwest. And another young woman who won best chef of the Midwest, you know, and like what they did was follow directions and listen. And then when you said, I think you got some potential. Here's a good person. You should go over to this place and work. And, you know, you call somebody and tell them, hey, this is a good one. And they go do it. They don't go ahead and stay at their job that they're comfortable with and easy. And it's they put something into it. But there's this one guy when I was teaching in Charlotte, and he comes in, he's probably 26, and he was a used car salesman. Not a day cooking. I don't even know why he came into the school. This guy caught fire. I never seen anything like it. From day one, he just was all in. Anything, and it's the people that, you know, they'll do all the extra events. They take every single learning opportunity they possibly can. It's really interesting.
Oh, that's got to be the most gratifying part of your job.
And it is usually gratifying. And it's, you know, for me, it's why I try to make all this extracurricular stuff available.
Right.
And that we don't just come in, teach our class, punch the clock, and go home.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of culinary schools do that. I'm not saying a lot of chefs, but you could talk to a lot of my people who have gone to other culinary schools, and they're like, yeah, my school I went to, chefs they don't do what we do. I'm like, well, I told you when I hired you, this is not a normal teaching job.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing a lot of extra stuff, and we do it for the students, because the want to be passionate for the industry. You know, I really feel our industry is almost in a desperate situation right now that people don't want to cook; they want to watch it. You know, there's still the shows and stuff.
I never would have guessed that.
But enrollment is down. There's not probably a restaurant in the world that can't use cooks.
That is amazing. And I hope the 2 million listeners that I have are listening to that right now, because that is really, I would have thought that you were at the point where you have to turn people away wow.
No,
I'll tell you something. I have experienced other culinary institutes, and I've said it before, they can't hold a candle to what you folks do with there. I've been there. You've shown me around. I've been to some of the events, and what you do is exceptional. You ever come across a student that, God bless them, you're looking at them and you're going, they ain't going any. They're not going to be able to work at the concession stand at the Pelicans game.
Over the years, there's a lot of students I've told that you might want to rethink your career choice.
Oh, that must be tough, though, right?
It is tough.
Yeah.
That's what my guidance counselor told me in 11th grade.
But you're trying to be honest, and that was really especially because the education I was involved in before coming to Horry Georgetown Technical College was private education, and it was very expensive for the student. And so you hate to see people wasting their money. And so I had that, I thought I was being kind, because it's like, man, you're wasting your money.
Yeah.
You're really wasting your money. Maybe in a couple of years you want to come back and figure out what you want to do, but it's obvious you're not into this.
Yeah.
And if you're not into it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because to me, what I floundered about as a young person.
So did I, yeah.
And it was finding something I was passionate about. You know, I was passionate about music, but I think I might have mentioned before, I'm a much better cook than a guitar player. And playing music only cost me money my whole life, and especially the kind of music I play, punk rock music, underground music, I got to do a bunch of stuff, but it never really paid. We were lucky if we paid for our rehearsal space, or we could pay for studio time. So cooking, I grew up cooking. I always liked it. I got in the industry and really developed a passion. And I think that's, for a student, that's really one of the big things. But if you look at the culinary school closings in the since 2013 or so, 12, the shrunk. The whole system, Cordon Bleu America, gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Art Institute, who I worked for, we had 36 culinary schools gone.
Wow.
Johnson & Wales closed their Denver and their Miami campuses and just have Charlotte and Rhode Island now.
But you guys are going strong, yeah?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We could
do
take a
some
lot
more.
more. And
Yeah.
it kind of mystified me because our tuition is so low and opportunity so great. But I was talking with some other chefs yesterday, and it doesn't seem like young people really want to do this for a career. They might do it for a couple years, but things really changed after COVID, and it really doesn't matter. Like when we're in France, they tell us the same things in Paris. Like we were blown away last year when we were there at the school, because in the kitchens for the school part have windows into the main hotel kitchen,
Right.
so you can watch
Yeah.
the big chefs work.
Yeah.
And every morning, the executive chef of the hotel spent 2 to 3 hours picking greens, peeling beans, doing all the commis work,
Right.
that normally 15-year-olds over
Right.
there would be doing. And years prior to that, like, he wasn't doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And we
What do you attribute that to?
don't know.
I mean, you said earlier about all the different cooking shows that could have, because I noticed, like, if I'm doing a cooking demonstration somewhere for, say, 10, 15, 18 people, it is inevitable that half of the guests think they know so much about cooking. And, it's pretty obvious to people who are trained like yourself to zero in on people that, you're educated by the Food Network,
Yeah, and TikTok and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And I think part of it is the physicality. This, I know I was that person as a young person. I didn't want to listen. I had to learn the hard way. Didn't want to follow direction, and so I feel like an old man, like sounding like my stepdad, like, oh, those young people, like,
they just don't want to listen.
they don't want to work anymore. It's like, don't want to work with their hands. It's like the stress, the hours. We were talking with a group of food service people yesterday, and it's the same kind of thing. It's like people come for a job and they're like, well, I can't work this day. I can only work these hours. I need to make this much money. It's like the attitude has totally shifted. And me and some of the older chefs at the school talk about it. Like, we were like, whatever you need.
Yeah.
I'll stay late. I'll do extra. You want me to clean the drain? You want me to do this? Anything and everything, because I'm committed. I understand you're paying me. And, back in the 80s, I was making $3 an hour and willing to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
At the minimum wage.
Well, at the risk of shifting gears, cooking shows on television. I'm obsessed with America's Test Kitchen and Cook's Country, and I used to like Milk Street, that guy, whatever his name is. He's now has a radio show. Are you familiar with any of those shows? America's Test Kitchen?
Isn't Milk Street the same guy, Richard Kimball or something?
Yes. He used to be on TV. He got booted from the TV show.
Oh.
Contract dispute.
Because didn't he head up Test Kitchen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And now they continued with those shows on PBS without him.
Oh.
So he started his own radio show, which is also on public. It's on NPR, public radio. But do you watch those shows?
Honestly,
Like,
I stopped watching cooking shows a long time
Really?
ago.
Well, I think you and I have
We
touched
talked
on this
about-
before, but I
Wow.
can't remember why.
I don't know, but I think because
love
it's like I like disengaging from work when I
when
leave.
you get home.
get it.
I
Right.
do not want to talk about it. I do not want to think about it. When I was younger, and I remember specifically in the mid 90s or something, and I didn't have cable TV, and people were getting cable and all that kind of stuff. And they were talking always about Iron Chef, the original Japanese version. And people would always tell me, "Oh, you should be on Iron Chef. You could do that." And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know what they're talking about. And I finally got cable, and I got hooked on that Iron Chef Japan.
Show. Oh, really? Great show.
The original one was so quacky.
Yeah.
And the dubbing and everything. It was
well, back in the day, I know you remember. First was Julia Child on television.
Yeah.
Then was Graham Kerr, the Galloping Gourmet.
I remember. Right.
Those shows were huge and fun.
Yeah.
Even for a kid. I was very young, but I always watched the Galloping Gourmet.
I love the Asian one, Yan Can Cook.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then there was the Cajun guy, Justin Wilson.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Was he the one? No.
Or overalls.
Yeah, I remember him. But Paul Prudhomme, he used to have to sit down while he was cooking. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Now, but you guys don't watch cooking shows at all anymore.
No, not too much.
You know them, but you don't watch them.
Yeah.
And I think they're a lot better now because there's all that Mind of a Chef and all that stuff on Netflix. And my guys watch it, and people.
Test Kitchen is so great to me because
Test Kitchen is a good show.
They will go through 4 or 5 different processes for something simple and say, this is the one that won. And here's why.
Here's why.
And here's the science behind it.
Right.
And it kind of sticks in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. The learning, I think like the learning thing is good. And it's like, to me, the whole, and maybe it's because I don't deal with not winning very well. But I like pretty much my whole career, I've thought that food as competition is kind of ridiculous. I think of food as love, of family, of if I'm a chef and being paid for that and people are coming in and eating my food, my job is to make them happy. But also I want to serve healthy food, not health food, but food that's good for them. It's got a good background, good ingredients, all that kind of stuff. Let them be the judge. I've done a lot of competitions, but I've worked with a lot of people who have done tons more than me, almost obsessed, it seemed like, with gold medals and collecting medals and stuff. It's different when you're cooking for especially a sanctioned American Culinary Federation competition. You're cooking, 1, very technical, and 2, the judges.
Yeah.
And you base some on their history, their age, and that kind of stuff. For me, the importance of it with the students is it teaches them so much discipline because what they got to accomplish in an hour and a half. And so it's regimentation, practicing over and over and over again. And those are the things you apply to a job, and that's super valuable.
I enjoyed watching your instructors teach the kids how to debone a chicken completely,
Yep.
Which is amazing when someone's really good at it. And I don't know, have you ever seen the Instagram of I think he's a Japanese guy that can debone a chicken in like 7 seconds or something?
With a cleaver.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know how much meat he's wasting doing that in 7 seconds, but I mean, those are skills that the average guy isn't going to learn. You got to do it hands-on. You got to have somebody standing over you saying, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Yan Can Cook and do it with the cleaver.
Yeah.
Less than 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Chef Joe, tell us about the lunches over at the school.
So this semester, the restaurant, Fowler Dining Room, is open Monday through Thursday for lunch with a la carte menu. You pick your own items, that kind of thing. So Monday through Thursday, we open at 11:30. Last seating will be about 1:30. And
do you need reservations for that?
You do, but the secret is we always hold some tables for walk-ins. Like I don't fill the restaurant. So if a party of 10 shows up, I'm not going to take them. But if a party of 2 walks up and says, I don't have a reservation, or 3, it could even be 4, then generally we can take people.
And the other secret is I'll be giving out your personal cell phone number at the end of the show.
I was going to say, that's what,
Yeah.
the
Worst
people
secret keeper ever.
Yeah,
That's
the people
me.
I tell people just text me, the
Yeah.
people I know. And then in the spring is when we start back with the so-called dinners. We got a comment card yesterday that said, more lunches, less weird dinners. And I'm like,
I guess they don't watch the Food Network enough.
yeah, I don't know, because the dinners are set menus, 5 courses.
Yeah.
There's not choices unless you have a dietary restriction.
Right.
So, but yeah, I just thought it was the funniest, less weird dinners.
Yeah, less weird. Okay, check it out, folks. Well, listen, whether you want to learn how to debone a chicken with a cleaver, whether you want to be in competitions, whether you want to be trained to become a restaurant chef, or whether you just have this love and passion for food, check out HGTC, International Culinary Academy, run by Chef Joe Bonaparte. Nobody does as good a job as he does. Check it out. I mean, you hear so many times people say, oh, you know what? I always wanted to. Do it. Just do it. It's not expensive. They help you out financially. Give it a shot. Okay, folks, when we come back, I'm going to go over a couple of restaurants that we talked about in the earlier segments. Chef Joe Bonaparte, thanks for coming in. Paul Grimshaw, thanks for sitting in. Really appreciate it.
He traded the surf for the pines and bars. Now he only cooks for stars. Only cooks for stars.
And a special thanks to Grant Turner, a.k.a. Ricky Mokel, comedian. Hilarious guy. You guys got to check him out at the Carolina Opry. He talked about Joe's Bar and Grill in North Myrtle Beach. I've heard so much about this. I have to get there. Sounds like it's right up my alley. Also mentioned 44th and King. And then Chef Joe Bonaparte and Paul Grimshaw of the Paul Grimshaw Band, and also 20-year food writer for Grand Strand Magazine. Those guys were talking about, Chef Joe Bonaparte was talking about Fowler's for lunch. And that's the Fowler Dining Room over at the International Culinary Academy in Myrtle Beach. They're open for lunch now. One of the tips that Chef Joe talked about was the fact that if you're using rosemary, even one of those little packages from the local market, if you leave the tip on and just take that stick and just push it into the ground, the thing is so vibrant, it'll grow. And he mentioned Soul. Soul was a Mexican restaurant that had closed down, but they're going to be reopening on Holmestown Road. Don't forget, folks, if you have any interest in cooking, check out the International Culinary Academy. I mean, you don't have to be a professional to go there. If you've got passion about cooking, and it doesn't matter what age you are. And if you think, oh, you've read about so many different culinary schools and how expensive they are, they're not. They are not expensive, and they do everything they can to help you out. And then once you're in, you may be lucky enough to be taken on one of those culinary trips to Europe. Paul Grimshaw mentioned that there's a spot in Georgetown. It's an herb garden that's open to the public, so check that out. Also, Inlet Culinary Garden, which I just love. It's run by my friend Peter Gerace, and they have terrific stuff there. So a lot to think about, a lot of tips that Chef Joe talked about. I talked about a couple of restaurants to check out. And you know, I always forget to tell you folks, if you do go to these restaurants because you heard them mentioned on the show, tell them the Private Chef to the Star sent you. Enough restaurants hear about this. Maybe they won't be so intimidated to come on the show. A lot of people turn me down. They just get too nervous. Even acclaimed chefs that run very successful restaurants, they just don't want to come on the show. I don't know why. All we do here is talk about food. So I hope some of these tips helped today, and use them at home, or go out to dinner. But if you stay home, I know you can handle it because you are your family's private chef. Thanks so much for listening.